All right, good morning. It's September 18th. It's almost 10 o'clock, and here too, we're going to switch over to our Zoom meeting that we're having with the Gulf Coast Consulting Firm for Accounting 309 today. So today's meeting is to talk about how we've applied big data analytics to our individual companies that we've been hired by. So we know what big data is. We know how to gather that information. Now it's about applying that to these individual companies, to their past events, to see what we can do differently in the future. It's applying that information for internal audits, finding ways to make better decisions, and overall trying to increase profitability for these individual companies. That's what we've been hired to do. So I think I just got a notification that they are ready for us now. We'll switch over to them.
Right.
Right.
Ooh.
I hit the record button.
All right. Go
Right.
All right. So we are Gulf Coast Consulting Firm. We're going to start by talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. So whoever wants to lead that up can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead with that, Brianna. So Bed Bath & Beyond is facing some challenges. Last year, they lost $559 million. And they've been closing stores since 2015. They closed 250 stores pre-COVID. And now they have plans to close another 150 stores. So that's going to only leave them with like 820 or 30 stores left. So interesting enough, a lot of the closings are happening around the New York, New Jersey area. So that might be an opportunity to kind of dig in there and find out what's going on in those markets versus other markets. So, but what I think we should do is really develop a plan to kind of get them back to profitability within the next year. And so one of the things that I want to focus on is the accounts receivable side. And in particular, Bed Bath & Beyond forever has offered coupons, 20% coupons. All right. And so, in fact, they've been doing it so long that there's been a whole generation of people come up, Generation Z, 60 million people that, you know, even before they were born, Bed Bath & Beyond was offering coupons. So what we can do is we kind of look and see, is that really working for them? I did some quick math, and it looks like there's about $295 million that they're missing out on revenue by offering these coupons. So is that really working for them? And now one concern that I have is that they've got a lot of customer loyalty, undoubtedly, from, you know, years of being in existence and having shoppers come, and they may, you know, really miss the coupon offering. So what they have is a rewards program that they're encouraging their loyal customers to come into. They can still offer coupons through that rewards program. But for the entice new customers, I think they ought to think about some gift card offerings, kind of like in restaurants where you go in and you can buy a $50 gift card and get a $10 gift card to use for some limited amount of time. And that's still a 20% discount in effect, but it might help to draw in this new generation of shoppers that Bed Bath & Beyond may be missing out on.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's a good point, Tim. And something else I've noticed with Bed Bath & Beyond, it seems that they failed to use big data proactively. In 2019, after sales were dropping, they decided to introduce a line of private labels. Private labels are successful. However, I don't feel that Bed Bath & Beyond used big data to determine what types of products would be successful as a store brand. You know, they could have done research. What types of products are customers going to use? I can't do this.
You can.
That's okay. It gives me a chance to move somewhere where I don't look like I'm in a black hole.
What types of products are customers willing to buy as a store brand, and which name brand products do customers prefer? You know, why are they choosing the private label over a name? Is it cost, or is quality also a deciding factor? So they could definitely use big data to determine these types of things.
All right, so we've talked about Bed Bath & Beyond. If anybody has any questions, you know, feel free to ask whenever. We can, after that, now move on to Target.
Can I jump in and ask a question about Bed Bath & Beyond real quick? So you both kind of mentioned missing, I guess, the like point with the newer generation and what they're going to enjoy and like how they're going to interact with shopping. And Tim, you brought up a good point about how they're closing a lot of their stores, and I know that their online presence is not so much, not really popular whatsoever. So do you think it would maybe help by continuing to close down some of their like stores that people go in person and leave them as just warehouses and break more into an online store per se, like Amazon is, and to keep up with the new generations? And I think that would help with trying to figure out what more people are interested in and like seeing what people are looking at on your website and what's getting the most views and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, certainly I think they can leverage all of these locations that they have and use those as kind of outlets to distribute online products. But what I really like to do is take a look at, at least 5 years of all their transactional data, to kind of drill down on or how are we really impacting the newer generation, the Generation Z that's coming up. I suspect the coupons aren't doing it, to be honest with you. So, but that is a good point that you bring up. I think that they're having a presence, which is already established, is going to be pretty important for them going forward.
What about if they teamed up with other big realtors too, like moving into places like Target or things like that, so that they can lease space from them, but yet still get portions of sales?
Yeah, they're going to have to find that right fit, where they're not, a direct competitor is not going to want them on the same real estate. So they're going to have to find the right fit. So we can look at that and drill down and try to find out what other type of companies would be a good complementary fit for Target. BBB.
I feel like bringing up, y'all brought up Amazon earlier. Amazon's really good at teaming with other companies and just selling their products. I feel like that'd be a really good outlet. Just like, not necessarily like she was talking about, use their warehouses and go fully online, or he was, I believe, talking about that. But just dip your toes in the water with Amazon and see how it goes, teaming up with them and doing online before you jump wholesale into, let's turn all of our old warehouses into storage units and start selling solely online.
Yeah, I think Amazon's kind of a direct competitor to Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not sure how that would work. We'd have to really look at that closely.
All right. Well, we could probably just move on to Target now. I know we've got a few things to talk about there.
I don't know how much the younger generation knows, but in 2013, Target had a huge data breach with regards to their credit cards. They had a third-party vendor access their data servers, which then they were able to work their way up to their point of sales devices. So that means everybody who made a transaction at Target for almost a month during the busiest season of the year, the holiday season, had their data information stolen, their credit card data information stolen. So with that, Target has spent a lot of money with regards to encrypting their data and going back and securing their data. That Target breach was one of the big pushes for chip cards, which create an individual transaction ID for everybody when they're going through, their sales. So that secures the customer's information right there. Target also has spent a lot of money with customer loyalty and building their brand back up to get those customers back. After the data breach, their sales fell 46%. Obviously, during the Christmas season, it's not the best time for that to happen. So what I'd really like to do is go in and see the big data and see how effective all of that has been and how they can continue to improve.
Now, do you think like any of their privacy concerns now that a lot of the stuff's focusing on all their apps that they have on their phone? That's a whole different set of like privacy data breach concerns that we have, you know, do you think that they plan-
Everybody is being tracked on their cell phones for everything that we do. I swear I think of something
Mhm.
and my phone tells me about it.
Right.
Another issue that Target did have with regards to that data tracking is they had sent out coupons to customers who were expectant mothers. Not everybody had told people they were expecting. So there's still a lot of work to be done with Target's tracking data and with regards to using it to entice their customers to get in there.
All right. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Target too. So my focus is on the internal, finding ways to lower our costs, I guess to say. So Target's whole motto is expect more, pay less. So in order to do that, you know, we need to find ways to cut costs internally, focusing using big data for specifically like supply chain tracking. So we can take that information, we can track the external environment with our suppliers. So we can see trends in any, let's see, like possible bankruptcies that are coming up, if any supply chains are having strikes against them, and we can catch that before it becomes a problem for Target. So if any of that stuff is noticed, we'll make the changes ahead of time, switch suppliers, find ways to, you know, be prepared, I guess, so to say, to keep making sure that we have the inventory that we need constantly. We're not shorting anything out, and that our supply is continuing to grow. We can take data that we've gathered from inside of the warehouses from Target as well. So looking at like mileage on our equipment, looking at our route choices within our warehouse, finding ways that we're expending more than we need to, so we can find ways to change our warehouse layout, for example. We can do that to try and save either costs on equipment, cost on employees, if we can use it to track individual employee productivity in certain areas as well, just off of the data that we've gathered from that equipment.
I think going back to our suppliers too, it would be great to be able to have that data in our hands. So that way, when we contract new suppliers too, we can negotiate our terms and utilize things like early pay discounts and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So have you guys thought about maybe, you know, evaluating all the contracts, maybe doing some type of optical scanning and searching for those terms and making sure that they could apply those trade discounts to every purchase?
There's also the trade discounts too. So there's two different avenues we can do that with them, but having that data going into the contract negotiations would be a great thing.
All right. Any other questions?
Just if anybody knows the answer to this, how often does Target give out coupons for like say 20% off or like, I mean, I personally don't really shop at Target much, so I don't know.
A lot of it is tracked through their big data through things like their app or your red card. So a lot of it is based off of customer purchases. So obviously the more you go, the more you're going to get special offers. So
Okay.
A lot of it is already tracked through that data.
And does it give you special offers based on items that you've purchased like in the past? So like if you've gone to Target and gotten this, and this, you notice discounts in the app for
It sure
product
does.
that you purchased?
It sure does.
That may be something like worth looking into for Bed Bath & Beyond, how we were saying earlier. Maybe not taking away all of their discounts or like 20% off coupons that they give to people, but again, having like some kind of account that they have where they normally buy these types of things. How about we send them coupons for these types of things and not specifically 20% off the whole store, but just like little items that might encourage them to purchase things that they weren't going to purchase before because they now have a discount on it.
Right. And in Target, when you're shopping, you can use their app and scan items that you may be interested in. And it says, okay, well, this one's on sale for 5% off if you add this coupon to your wallet, or 10% off. It doesn't have to be a 20% off of one item. It could be a,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something worth looking into.
Yeah, Target does a lot of data tracking through their app, and being able to use all that data to specify it to customers and specifically is great. Because, you know, if people are buying certain products, you're not going to want to say, hey, I noticed you buy a lot of baby diapers, but here's this offer for a 50-inch flat screen.
Right. I think, yeah, I definitely think that that is worth putting more effort into on Bed Bath & Beyond's part, and trying to see exactly what they could, like, maybe specific items that they could push towards people and just generate more sales based on that, I guess, rather than just based on them saving money in total.
Like perhaps maybe people who go to Bed Bath & Beyond are mostly looking for higher end kitchen items. Like I know I have, you know, so perhaps they could work with those distributors and vendors with regards to getting those discounts out to customers, because they want their products sold too. So if they can work with those things to get, you know, a nice, really good, you know, home brewing coffee system that everyone should invest in, then that way it's a trickle down effect for, and it benefits everybody along the chain.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we don't have too much time left. We'll get switched over and we'll switch it to, is it Sherry or Spencer going first on nonprofit
will.
organizations? All right.
Yeah, I'll give you a little background. So we're switching gears. I'm going to make this real short and sweet since we're kind of running low on time. We're switching over to nonprofit. So my deal is not to make money, but to get money, and then be able to use it in an effective way. So we're looking specifically at Cedar Hill Animal Sanctuary, which is actually in Caledonia, Mississippi. They take care of large exotic cats. There's lots of lions, tigers, a few bobcats, some cougars, about 150 domestic cats, plus some dogs, horses, pigs, and whatnot that show up. So as you can imagine, they have immense vet bills. They've got a huge, I think I've seen somewhere around $2,500 a month food bill. We're in a recession. Everybody's counting every penny. And the last thing they have the ability to do right now is give money to someone else. So what we're looking into is how to increase donations, how to use every last penny, and how to find our expectations. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look external. We're going to look at old records going all the way back to the 70s, and Spencer might have some input on this. Every charity is required to file an IRS 990 that shows how much money they got, where it's going, how much the administration is. Right now, Cedar Hill's administration is under 15%, which is considered fabulous by almost every charity, navigator, rater, etc. So the money's not going to admin, but we need to look at these as compared to the 70s stagflation, the 2008 market crash, the 1987 market crash. You know, what happened to donations for charities during these periods? Did they go up? Did they go down? How did they survive? Were there a lot of closings? Then we want to dive into big data. I've taken a look at who donates to charities, done a little research, and you can correlate Twitter handles, things like that, and use hashtags to get the need for donations out to your target audience, which for animal charities, surprisingly, is mostly female. Those are your big donors. So what I'm thinking, well, what do most women like? Oh, wow, pumpkin spice latte. Well, let's go get a hashtag for pumpkin spice and show some tigers eating up some pumpkins, and let's add that hashtag. And all of a sudden, instead of just going to people who look at animal stuff, now I'm going to anyone who's looking at pumpkin spice. And maybe somebody's so enthralled that they go further into the pumpkin spice, you know, seeing the tiger eat the pumpkin, that they're going to look at the shelter and say, oh, wow, these are people I want to support. If we can't get money, let's get in kind. Let's go work with Target. Target does a white sale every January. So my hashtag is going to be, you know, reuse, reduce, reuse. So if you're going to buy new white sheets, well, give me your old white sheets. I can use those with my domestic cats. So not only am I making you feel good and justifying your purchase, because you're not just buying new sheets, you're giving to charity your old sheets. So you're doing good stuff by going to shop at Bed Bath & Beyond and Target and, buying those sheets. So I want to get my name attached to their sales. I want to do my data digs and see, well, okay, Target always does a white sale in January. What do they do in March? Do they put green stuff on sale because it's St. Patty's? How do I tie into their money there? Also, obviously, I want to watch the hashtags for PetSmart, Costco, any big retailers, warehouses, because we can use all of that. And take a look at our social media.
I'm so sorry.
Hi, I think we're back.
No issue there.
Anyway,
We're
obviously,
back.
so really short. We're just going to look at our social media presence and make sure that we're not just on animal hashtags. Like I said, we're going to get out there with those other social media hashtags. Spencer, do you have anything you want to add? There's some other things that we can look at.
Bouncing off of what you're talking about with the crashes, like the .com crash, 2008 housing crisis, stuff like that. So during the 2008 housing crisis, there was multiple years, and same thing with .com. The trend is almost the exact same before every one of these crashes. So in 2006, it was predicted that by 2008, this crash was going to happen. And the prediction came from the back of the .com crash. And so that gives you a 2-year window that you can predict what's going to come afterwards. And once 2008 hit, which this had already been predicted, the donations dropped by 7% in 2008, 6.2% in 2009, and it wasn't until 2011 that donations started to come back on the climb and met their 2008 original peak. So I feel like with this information, it'd be easy for you to build a nest egg and look at where this data is coming from the past crashes, build your nest egg so that you would be able to weather the 3 years following. Because in the .com crash, it also took around 3 years for everything to get back to normal. So I feel like this is a good way to do that. And especially because there's so much data out there, it kind of allows you to make the big data not so big anymore, just because as a smaller company, you're not going to have the resources that some of the bigger companies would to say, just take all of the data analytics that came from it and then present something. With this, you can take the data that has already been out there by the big companies and then just condense it and then make it much more easy to navigate for a smaller company to produce.
That's really great information, because being a charity, and not having a definitive cash flow at all times, you definitely need to know, okay, I need that nest egg for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years. And then going further into that, are the donations seasonal? Do they go down in summer? Do they go up in summer? Which they do go down in summer always. And, what can we do to plan for, well, it's going to be a bad year plus a bad summer, so I really need to build up for next summer, that kind of thing. And also, what kind of things can we do to get, I don't want to say free, but pro bono, like food and vet? Can we work with other companies like Target and Bed Bath & Beyond for donations, which, gives you guys a great halo effect and gives us food. So
and fishing off of like what you're talking about, the hashtags. Once you see a certain hashtag rise for holidays and stuff, you can piggyback off that and then use that in income in line with your your yearly profits, what you usually get in a year. And or at certain years, you like holidays, you get certain amounts more. So you can start using these hashtags like on your lull times. If a hashtag is coming up, then you can use that hashtag to maybe piggyback off of and kind of increase that drop or
Absolutely.
decrease the drop.
Right. That's pretty much what we've got. So,
All right. Is there any questions? Anybody got anything? All right.